welcome to another episode of Shooting
the Shit with Rachel
and Neal Young. So we're talking all things real estate photography business growth, mindset, and getting it done. Here come your favorite true entrepreneurs, Rachel and Neal Young, shooting the shit.
I have a ferret on the podcast. Like if we're kind of in a slump, like what kind of things do you do?
Talking about a boob light.
Straddling a power line.
Nice photo.
Ooh, I need that.
I'm like red right now because I'm embarrassed. I go like this. I love it.
Come in.
Sure, use your podcast voice.
You know, over here, I'm kidding out.
Drone's like flipping to the ground.
That's a great callback.
Chit-chatting.
Is that what you call that? Hey!
Rach, who do you love?
HD Photo Hub.
Today's episode is brought to you by HD Photo Hub.
The platform real estate photographers trust.
And so do we, because Rach and I both use it on a daily basis. Check it out.
Well, hello, Neal.
Hey, Rach, what's going on?
We're back. We have power. We tried to record yesterday and I lost power all day, which meant I just didn't do any work all day, which is just lovely. Now I'm way behind.
You played hooky.
I did. I did go and run errands that I needed to do returns, and I needed to apply for a business line of credit, which is painfully slow at the bank, you know, all that stuff. But my car didn't charge overnight, so I only had 40 miles, so I had to go supercharge.
Oh.
The whole thing. Yeah.
I didn't think about that with your power outage. Interesting.
Yeah. And then I went and visited Trevor, our family member.
Yes.
Yeah.
Doing well?
Yes, he's doing great.
Good.
Should we talk about this on the podcast?
Yeah, I guess we have to now.
Shit. Okay, I've been holding a big thing back from you on the podcast, which we've talked a little bit about it this summer. And it's one of those topics that like you don't know if you want to tell people because you don't really want an influx of sympathy, and it's overwhelming. And every time people bring it up, it kind of brings it back to the surface. So not saying that I'm not welcoming like prayers and like good words and stuff, but that is why I haven't said anything. But my stepson was diagnosed with cancer last spring.
Yeah,
it's a rare stomach cancer, and he's had 2 surgeries, and now he's back in the hospital doing chemo for this whole week. So I was in the hospital hanging out with him yesterday, which was great. He's doing really good, surprisingly well. So he has a few more rounds of chemo. He's got to fly back to New York to have another little procedure. And then he has radiation. They might do a clinical trial with him. They don't really know. So anyways, he's doing really good. We're doing really good. All is well. But yeah, so
glad to hear it. Positive thoughts and prayers are welcome for sure, but it's a lot when you're already like dealing with it on a day-to-day basis, and then it's people want to help, but then it kind of is maybe the one moment you weren't thinking about that. It's you're dealing with it again, right?
Yeah. And it was a lot harder this summer before we knew how many he had 14 tumors removed from his belly. So like we didn't know how many were in there. They saw one big mass and then a few little ones. But like until we had that first surgery, we really didn't know how bad it was going to be, because there could be a lot of complications with removing those tumors. And it was like the best case scenario. I mean, they got them all. Now they're just doing the chemo. So summer, it was hard. People would kept bringing it up, and it was just so scary. Like that fear of the unknown, you know?
Yeah, it's a lot, man. I can't even imagine. Oh, wow.
I know. Yeah. You think it's never going to happen to you. And it's like, oh, this is really, seriously, this is happening to us. I'm like, wow. Okay. Yeah. And I was drinking a lot to kind of just cope, to be honest. Like that was one of the reasons why I quit drinking, why I got under the 6-pack. Like I knew I needed to quit drinking again because I just started doing it too much. And yeah, I was going to quit on my New Year's resolution. And then I joined the 6-pack, and there's no alcohol on the plan. So I was like, well, I guess I'll quit now. So I feel so much better now. Like just like well-rounded, like that's comfortable, good. Like things are coming together. There's light at the end of the tunnel kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
Anyways. Yeah. Okay. Enough about my life.
Good.
Okay. Yes. So here we are. Episode number 74, Neal.
Whoa, look out.
I know. We've done so many of these. And thank you to our listeners who have listened to all of these. Like we get some messages on Instagram. They're like, oh, I'm all caught up on all the episodes. And I just think that's so cool that you guys have followed along on our journey, and you're just avid listeners and dedicated. I appreciate it. So thank you.
That's super awesome. Thank you guys. And on that note, don't forget to DM us, whatever, message us. Let us know what you need to hear about. What do you need help with? Because that helps us come up with new episodes too. So I appreciate you guys.
For sure.
But yeah, so this week, we're going to talk a little bit about some recurring things you could do for content for series on social media.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So I currently do have a content. We're going to talk about content series. So a content series is like a show that plays every week that has a title, right? It's
right.
something that people can look forward to. It helps you build your brand. Like it's basically like a weekly video series that you do. So for me, I do Tip Tuesday. I know a couple other creators out there do it as well. I think it's great. If you want to rip that off, take it. Dan Redwine, my business partner with the master plan, took it and turned it into Chip Tuesday, where
Speaking of ripoffs,
like, you're gonna eat chips in your every single. He literally eats chips while he's doing these videos, and I'm just like, you are crazy. But he's done a great job with it,
yeah.
and he's actually made money with it. Like
Oh, really?
builders, yes, builders will. I'm like, I've been doing this for like 5 years, and you've done it for like 3 months, and you've already made. He got like $500 for one of his reels from a builder
Oh,
that
was it because
sponsored
the
him.
tip relates to that builder? What is it?
It was about their company, and they were like, "Yeah, they sent me $500 to make this reel for them," and then I collaborated, and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
okay,
that's cool. And I will
oh,
say though, that is a good is a creative thing that he did. He took a thing like Tip Tuesday that's pretty established, right? And
hmm
then he just did a little spin on it. So you don't have to reinvent the wheel, but you could throw your own little spin on it. Just changing it to Chip Tuesday. And I saw you guys do one where you like throw the bag of chips to him or vice versa, and it was fun.
yeah,
It just gives it something fun to kind of play with every time. So yeah, you can always just do a little spin off of something. Go find something cool you like somebody else does and do your little spin on it. Add
totally,
your own personality. So that's cool. Yeah.
yeah." It's been really fun too online to just like be mad that he stole my Tip Tuesday and turned it into Chip Tuesday. So I'll like throw chips at him or like I always give him
Yes.
crap. I'm like, thanks for stealing my concept. But I really don't care. It's just for fun, right? Fun
Right,
banter.
right.
Another person that has a content series who does a really good job is Virginia Kerr. And I think we've
Mm.
talked about her before on the podcast, right, Neil?
I think so. She's great. Yeah.
Yeah. She's fantastic. So she does This is Video School. She teaches you how to get on video. She now has This is YouTube School, where she teaches you how to get on YouTube. It's fantastic. And she is on Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify. She has a podcast. And her
Mm.
episodes are short and punchy and amazing. If you want help with content, how to get good on video, like listen to her. She's great. Anyway, she does a series on Instagram called People Pleasers Express. And she likes to do character skits where she is two different people within the same reel.
Yeah.
So she does these funny little skits about how she's a people pleaser because she is. And she talks about like, I don't know, it's great. You'll just have to follow her on Instagram and start watching because it's great. Her handle is It's Virginia Kerr.
Yeah.
So that's a good one. Another example so Dan and I have been talking to our master plan clients about, everyone should have a content series. And he
Mm.
always gives this example of in your corner with XYZ photographer or in your corner, like he's in thinking in terms of builders or architects, right? Because corners are a big part of architectural and design or houses, like kind of works in with the industry. So in that one, you could be talking about how you help your clients, like what sets you apart, what makes you in the corner of your clients, or like there's so many broad topics that you can actually cover within that topic. So whatever you pick, just make sure it's broad because I've been doing Tip Tuesday for 5 years and I always run out of ideas. I mean, there's a billion tips. I give a tip on anything. It's not boxed into just photography or real
Yeah.
estate.
Well,
It's
that's a good thing about
sometimes,
that. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's mindset, whatever. But the reason why I love Tip Tuesday is because I have to do it. Like it holds
Mhm.
me accountable and it makes me get on video, and two, just post for the week. Because there have been
Mhm.
times when like literally that's the only thing I post all week when I'm like just busy or not in the mood.
Yeah.
So
And I think that it might be a good starting place. I don't do a recurring thing myself currently right now, but I'm thinking like, oh, what could I do? But I think might good if you don't post a lot of stuff. Maybe you have one of those Instagram profiles where you just post your work. This might be a great starting point for something that goes beyond just a portfolio thing. That's educational. That helps your clients, and so you get one piece a week at least on that. It really does help you by establishing what the thing is. This is the what it falls under, and so you kind of have your guidelines to do that thing. Kind of helps, right?
yeah, totally. Another thing that we do every week now is a project we're proud of. And that was pulled from our newsletter. One section in our newsletter is a project we're proud of. And we showcase the property, we talk about the broker, and we talk about the shooter and their experience on site. And now we're doing that just in a post. And it's honestly, my VA makes a fun little reel incorporating video clips and photos. It's fun and it's engaging, it's quick. And then we give a little description below of the property, a call out to the broker. A lot of times we'll collaborate with the broker or tag them. So you kind of get that, extra reach. And the clients love it because they're getting your reach and you're getting their reach. It's just getting that house in front of more people. So that's another option. Like, feel free to take that one too. I don't think that one is as effective in building your personal brand as something like Tip Tuesday, though, because with Tip Tuesday, they're really getting to know me and they're getting to learn something about my mindset and they learn something from the things that I'm teaching or giving the tip about. You know what I mean? So it gives a little bit more of like, they feel like they're getting more out of my account. I always say you have to ask, why are people following your Instagram account? Like, why would they follow you? Are you add value content? Are you teaching them something? Are you entertaining them? Are you inspiring them? So if you're just showing listing photos and houses, like that's really not going to relate with them. I mean, yeah, they like houses, but they can see that anywhere, right? And they see that all day long. So how are you going to turn that and make it a little bit more educational or relatable? And that's by getting on camera and teaching something that maybe they didn't know or they didn't need help with.
I know. I like the idea kind of on the same lines of that. I like the idea of like highlighting one of your clients, agent of the month maybe. But I don't know about weekly for like an agent thing, but maybe like an agent of the month. But I feel like you could run it out of those quick too, but also isn't highlighting your own personal stuff, but maybe you could find a way to tie in your own personal, maybe it was projects of the month, but you tie in the agent. So I just think that the agents would love that you were spotlighting them a little bit. I think that would be something like some agents might want to be spotlighted by you, even if they didn't work with you currently. So maybe that would be of interest if you could get your own I think you're right though, get your own personality in there somehow and maybe tie it into something else. But also I do love the idea that all of these things can also go into your blog if you have a blog or if you have a newsletter or something like that. So they can all be used for those resources too. The other thought I had was just because, as you'll see in one of our other upcoming episodes, and who knows how many more as this evolves, but it's been interesting just to see all the things that are happening with AI. So maybe you can, and agents are curious about how they can utilize this. Maybe you could educate your agents on things like that, how it can be useful for them, and you could do a weekly tip on AI uses for agents or something like that.
Totally. And speaking of AI, I used AI to come up with these creative ideas for real estate photographers to have a content series for titles. So I asked ChatGPT, please give me a content series that a real estate photographer could create on social media where they talk about something, once a week. And I said, make it a little bit corny for the title. And this is what they came up with. Snap, Crackle, Sold. So you could have this title above on the top, like a banner on top of your video when it first starts, right? So people start knowing every week she posts a Snap, Crackle, Sold. Just like my Tip Tuesday, I either do it, I used to only do them on my story and I would add a title Tip Tuesday and it would be hot pink and it would bounce up and down. Like that was my branding for Tip Tuesday. And then I started making them a little bit more professionally done. So I did them as reels because I thought, oh, this could be kind of like better if it's, a reel and get more reach and maybe it'll actually get more followers, whatever. So I've done both, but either way you do it, make sure you're adding some kind of branding to it that they'll recognize when they see it. And they're like, oh, this is that cool weekly thing that they do, right? Snap, Crackle, Sold.
And with your thumbnail too, right? Your cover, so that they can scroll. If they love that, they can scroll through and find those and watch more of them.
Exactly. So Snap, Crackle, Sold, behind the scenes moments capturing the magic of real estate photography from staging to the final click. So for this one, in my mind, I'm like, okay, that's great, but let's talk about it when we're doing it. Like maybe it's just as simple as like you show up at a house and you can't find the lockbox. Oh, did you know that we have a note section on HT Photo Hub where you can add instructions on how to get into the home. That way I'm not
Mhm.
stuck here like trying to call you, or behind the scenes moment like, oh, you're shooting a living room and you notice that the chair is positioned and blocking the fireplace. Maybe that's a teaching moment for the broker to say, hey, when you're staging a home or your homeowners have their own stuff in there, just keep in mind that we want to stage it so that it photographs well. And this is one of the things we look for is like clearance to be able to see the fireplace, right? Like little tips like that. Or make sure all your light bulbs are the same color temperature. Like you could do so many things with behind the scenes when
Yeah.
you're on site and just see it and just talk for a minute and then just show a B-roll clip of it. You can
Yeah.
overlay it in CapCut.
And I bet if you just wrote down, like anytime you're on site and something like that pops up, you just wrote it down. I bet you'd have a huge list of these in no times. We just kind of forget all these things as we see them day to day, but
Yeah.
yeah, taking the notes would probably make it very easy to accomplish.
And one thing you have to remember, like I have been creating or trying to create a course forever. Finally, we have a couple, but I get so much imposter syndrome. I'm like, who am I to be teaching this? I'm not like an expert. And it's like, yeah, but I'm an expert compared to where I was 3 years ago. Like I've learned so much in the last 3 years. So I'm teaching myself 3 years ago, basically, the things I didn't know. And that's the content that I'm teaching now, that Neal and I are teaching now. It's stuff that like we've learned over the years, but it's like you got to understand there's always going to be people that are a couple steps behind you that want to be where you're at. So don't think that it's stupid or not useful or it's like everybody knows that. Like don't just assume that because there are a lot of things that a lot of people don't know, especially when it comes to real estate photography and our brokers. So
Mhm.
even if it seems stupid and kind of like, duh, everyone knows that, just do it anyway. It could be something that connects with a lot of people. I remember one of the Tip Tuesdays I did. This one's good. Was that, well, there's two that are pretty funny. So one was that you can long hold on a story to pause it. Like I didn't know that until probably a year and a half ago.
Mm.
Like when you go to stories on Instagram and you
Yep.
click through, you can like click through it by touching the screen or you can long hold on it and it'll pause it. I didn't know you could pause it by long holding, so I did that and I got so much interaction. Like it was such a dumb thing, but people were hilarious. Some people were making fun of me. They're like, "Oh my gosh, you didn't know that." But the fact that it got more engagement meant it got pushed out to more
Yeah.
people. And even if it's not like you just have a thick skin, like don't take it personally. It's fine. If people make fun of you, it's not a big deal. Just whatever. I was making fun of myself because I'm like, how did I not know this? That's a good way to combat it too.
There's so many things like that that I
I
still like. It
know.
wasn't that long ago when I realized even just tapping to the right or left of the story so you could go to the next one. I was just sitting there watching. I'm like,
Just
okay, when's
waiting.
the next one?
You're my favorite viewer. You get all the watch time up for me.
That's
Thank you.
right. I was just like, oh, I guess gotta sit through them all.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah.
Rach, sorry to interrupt, but a little aside here. I'm kind of excited because I'm branching out to a new market, first of all, in Florida. But the tricky part is it's pretty competitive down there, and there's some of these huge companies offering these crazy deals for like the first people that use them, and they're giving them like everything. And I was trying to think how I compete with this. I didn't know if you've done something like this before, what your thoughts were, but what I did was with HD Photo Hub, I set up a promo code for a little discount and then also included the marketing kit because a lot of these competitors are offering all these things and it sounds really crazy like, oh my gosh, they get a website, oh they get social media stuff, oh they get all these things. And I thought about it, I'm like, really? Oh, a video and all this. Like, actually, that's just the marketing kit that we get in HD Photo Hub. So I'm doing the promo code. They get a marketing, slideshow video. They get a website. They get social media templates. They get printable flyers and all the stuff that the agents love. And all of a sudden, I look like this, huge company that does all the same stuff these big companies are doing, and it looks kind of slick. But I didn't know if have you tried that? Have you ever done the promo code thing?
I have used the promo codes, which are great. You just generate them within HD Photo Hub. You give the code to your people. There's a little section when they check out to just put
Yep.
in that promo code and it automatically applies that discount, which is so convenient. I think that's a great way for you to stand apart from your competition too, Neal. Promoting yourself as a marketing company, offering a marketing kit and
Right.
going into a little bit of detail with that just sets you apart, makes you look baller.
Yeah,
Love it.
totally. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Good. All right. Cool. So I'm going with that, and that's what I'm going to do to try and kind of get people excited to use me the first time, and hopefully it'll get some traction rolling in that because it's a brand new market. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. Awesome.
Yeah, I love it. If you want to try out HD Photo Hub, you can get 50 free credits, which will buy you 3 property websites and marketing kits that you can test out on your clients. And the promo code for that is STS in shooting the shit. Try it out today. All right, so next topic is drone, sweet
So
drone.
you save some people like me. You know what I mean?
Right. I know it helps someone. Okay. And they were
Hmm.
probably older demographic, but that's okay.
What are you trying to say, Rach?
Nothing. Nothing at all.
By the way, my birthday's coming up in a couple days, and I'm going to
Oh
be
my gosh.
48.
Holy smokes, you're old as dirt. 48? Wow, you look great
Magic
too.
right here. This is magic. 48, baby. I
Happy
know.
birthday.
I know. The other day I showed Rachel, I was like, I showed Rachel a picture of me when I was her age. I'm like, just so you know, this is what I used to look. I look like a different person.
We were talking we were talking about how much you age in your 40s because I'm
Yeah.
42. And it's like a drastic difference from 38 to 42 already. I'm seeing it. And he goes, "Oh, wait till you get closer to 50." He's like, "It's crazy." And he showed me
Yeah.
that picture of him at 42 and I was like, "Oh,
Oh,
great."
I didn't have glasses then, Rachel. Like my
Uh-uh.
eyesight was still 20/20 even. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Oh, it's okay. So much to
Yeah.
look forward to. I'm so
I show
excited.
pictures of my daughter. She doesn't even recognize that that is me. That's when you know you're old, when your kid can't recognize your younger photos.
It's okay, Neil. I
But
still
it's
love you.
all good, baby. Getting old
All
is
right.
winning, because if you ain't
I
getting old, you're definitely not winning.
yes, I feel like men age more gracefully than women. We've talked about this. Okay, on to the list. We could talk all night. All right, drone, sweet drone. So stunning aerial shots of properties paired with tips on how drone footage enhances listings. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, how many posts like that could you do? That's a little bit that would box you in, but it could be cool to do a drone series where it's like a drone photo of one city, a drone photo of another city. Maybe you capture each different city from the air. Maybe like
Hmm.
show, I don't know. That could
Could
be
be some
cool.
stuff. Yeah, I would. I feel it'd be hard to do every week on drone unless, like, yeah, I feel like that could get tricky. But who knows? Maybe you just get crazy with all the things you do with your drone. You'd get so good at drone because you had to come up with new stuff.
Yeah, maybe.
You'd just be making gadgets for your drones. You'd be
Yeah.
crashing it intentionally just to have a post for that week.
Yeah. I mean, you could talk about the laws of a drone too. Like you can't fly over 400 feet. Like
Hmm.
that's interesting stuff to learn, you
Yeah.
know. Okay, so flash forward Fridays, weekly before and after transformations of properties through expert photography.
Mm.
So that you could do a series where you show like, well, that might get boring. I was gonna say show the unedited versus the edited photos.
Yeah, that could get boring, I feel like.
Yeah, before and after transformations, that's really doesn't apply to what we do. So that one's dumb. Bad
Yeah, if I
example of
if I
what we
were
do.
an interior decorator, that would never get old.
Right. That's perfect. If you were a stager or something like before and after of a staged home, like that would be
Yeah,
an
because
easy
that's
thing
their
to do.
bread and butter. That's that, and people love seeing before and afters of that stuff, I think. Yeah.
Right.
But maybe
The
if you widen it to before and after more general, like maybe you could do some a variety of things, like the listing when another photographer shot it, that could get hairy. But I've seen posts that was terrible photography, and then you shot it, or the before and after with virtual staging, the before and
mhm.
after with day to night, the before to after, uh, it before it's old and after it's old. Like I
Yeah,
don't
I mean,
know.
you
Yeah.
could even ask your agents, be like, "Hey, do you have any photos of this property before you got it ready for sale?" Or you could just start asking agents to send you before
Yeah.
photos and then say you'll post a before and after and show the transformation. You could give
Yeah.
your agent a shout out of how good they did coordinating all the contractors
Yeah.
or
Ask for
whatever,
cell phone
you know?
pictures and ask them to
Yeah.
be as careless as possible.
Yeah, take really bad pictures, please. Make
Do
me look
your
really
worst.
good. You do your worst. Says no one ever. Okay, the listing lens. Interviews with real estate agents about how professional photography impacts their sales success. So this is kind of like what you said. I mean, I think you could broaden it. It doesn't need to be
Yeah,
about
I think you'd
how
broaden it.
photography impacts their sales success, but I think interviewing your clients once a week, finding one client who wants to be on. Once you did it a few times, I bet you'd have clients who would be excited to do it and they'd be waiting for you to ask them.
Yeah, once they see it, I feel like they'd be
Yeah.
like, oh, because they have a hard time visualizing stuff till they see somebody else do it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So
And it's
start
a
with your favorite agent who trusts you the most.
yes. Okay, angle management. Tutorials and quick tips on finding the perfect angle to make any space look its best. That's cute. Shutter speed secrets. Quick, digestible photography hacks for both pros and aspiring photographers. I love this one. Shutter speed secrets. I think this one's great because so many people want to learn photography and they want to learn. Like, you could do composition, you could do camera settings, you could do like all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, you would think that like, oh, agents don't want to be photographers, but it it's I have there are a lot of companies that put out content about how you do what they do.
Mm-hmm.
And basically what you do is you see all that content and you realize you don't want to do any of it. And you want them to do it because they're so good
Right.
at it. Because you're
Right.
like, wow, that's a lot harder than I thought.
Yeah. And it kind of opens up like the behind the scenes of what you do and it shows
Hmm.
how you're an expert in your
Yeah.
field. So I think that's a
Shows
good
how
one.
you're really good at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hmm.
Home suite
Yeah.
highlight reel. Create reels showcasing homes through dynamic video storytelling. So that's similar to what we do. Lights listings action. A deep dive into how video and photography bring listings to life for buyers.
Mhm.
Framing the dream. Weekly. Oh, I like this one. I like the name. Framing the dream. Weekly features on the dreamiest home photographed, highlighting architectural and design details. That could be a fun one. Like this week on Framing the Dream with Rachel Ann, we have a mid-century modern with this gorgeous fireplace, and then you could show the picture that you took of the fireplace, and maybe it's you standing in front of the fireplace while you're talking about it. You could layer a couple photos over it, your
Mhm.
face, kind of as B-roll to show the final image. Showcases your work, shows that you care. You're talking about a design feature, which a lot of people love. People like to see and hear about new trends in homes, and that's broader than just brokers. That can reach stagers and other media partners that might help become part of your referral network.
Yeah. One of the huge ones that is really popular are fail Fridays for a
Mm,
series.
that's fun.
Like my brother-in-law is so big into mountain biking. They love and they are addicted to fail Fridays.
Oh,
And
it's
it
fun to
really makes
watch.
you
I love
really
watching
makes
people
you want to
fall.
learn, really makes you like I watch him going like, okay, I don't want to do that now. Let me slow it down and see what he did. Okay, don't ever do that. So, I mean, you could do some fail Fridays. I would be cautious
Totally.
about doing it in your own market, but you could find photography fails in other markets where they like, the photographer in the mirror or the whatever, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
call out like why that's a failure and like, oh, these are lines are so warped or I don't know. There's a dead cat in the pool. That would be a fail.
Ah,
You might have to spend some time, but I bet you if you looked, there's plenty of fails out there.
yeah, totally.
Uh,
I'd be like, fail, because there's a for sale sign in front of the house.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Fail, garbage can still in front of the garage.
yeah,
Fail, move your car. People
yeah.
are, yeah,
Fail. We could have virtualed out this storage box right here
all
for
right.
$10.
Yeah, fail, you're cheap. No.
Fail, you were cheap. This agent was cheap. This could have been virtual.
We'll block them from that post.
That's why I say don't do it locally because you don't want to
Right?
offend you don't want to offend your local competition or your local agents even because they're going to take
Yeah,
offense because it's their portfolio too, right?
exactly. Okay, real estate exposure is the last one. Fun and educational episodes where you uh demys demystify. Oh,
Demystify.
thank you. I can't read. Demystify photography jargon and show its real world applications.
Mm,
That would be fun.
that sounds like a snooze fest.
Maybe don't
I see a
demystify
lot of
photography
agents
jargon.
sleeping on that post.
Yeah, maybe stick with the other ones.
Aperture.
Anyways, yeah. So if you guys are not currently doing a series, it is a great way to start getting on camera and start getting comfortable in front of camera because people buy from people, they don't buy from brands. So they want to see the face behind the brand and know who they're going to work with so that you are known as their trusted partner in the industry. So I would highlight this. People have met me for the first time. They've seen my Tip Tuesday. They've never seen me in person. And they're like, oh my gosh, I feel like I know you just from your Tip Tuesday. I'm
Mm,
like, what? That's crazy. That
yep.
is insane to me. I'm like, this is amazing. And when you see like a celebrity on TV, if you saw him in real life, you'd run up to him like you know him. You'd be like, oh my gosh, hi, I know everything about you. Just because you've heard their voice and you know what they're like. So
Yes.
It's a great way to build trust, guys, and it's fun. So come up with a series. You can do it in your stories. You want it to be like really raw and done really easily, do it in your stories. If you want it to be more professional, I would just create a reel every week, but don't spend too much time on this. Just get it started. And then as it develops, you can perfect it over time. The main thing is you just start doing it now. People aren't going to judge you if it's not perfect, especially if it's in stories. So,
And I feel like you can also kind of recycle them a little bit. If there's a slightly different angle on a tip that you did a while ago, you could do a similar tip, just find a new angle for it, right?
yeah. Oh, totally.
I've seen that on other people's accounts, and I never take offense when it's like, oh yeah, yeah, I saw you had another post kind of like that, but I see how this is still relevant. So
Yeah.
I feel like that would help you too, so you don't run out of ideas entirely. Even reposting some that you did a year ago, you could probably repost them. They might still be, some of them might be evergreen, helpful things to repost.
Yeah. 100%. Totally.
Yeah, cool.
Love it. All right, guys. Well, enjoy the day, the
I
week.
guess I've got more homework to add to my list, a
Yeah.
series. I know my series. I actually dabbled in it a little bit, and I need to reboot.
You need to do comedy or improv or something
I want to do
because
acting. I want to do on camera, helping people acting and helping people on camera, that kind of
okay.
stuff. And I don't want
All
to
right.
make it funny. I got to do comedy. I got to find a way to work in comedy to whatever
Yeah.
my series is. Yeah.
You really do.
Find
You really do.
you
Okay,
find your
cool.
superpower, whatever you gravitate to, whatever you really enjoy. That'll help you. Yeah.
Yes. And I will add a link to my Focus Media Collective account with a Tip Tuesday. So you guys can go check that out on Instagram.
Sweet.
But in the meantime, follow us over on Shooting the Shit with Rach and Neal on Instagram. And we are on YouTube as well. If you want to watch any of these episodes on YouTube, you can see our beautiful faces. You can log in to YouTube. And I think the link is below. Right, Neil?
Yeah.
Neil does
They're
that
gonna
part. I don't know.
they're gonna wish your face was closer to the camera. Unfortunately, you're gonna find out that mine is always closer.
I know. I always think, should I zoom in more?
No,
Maybe
no.
on the next
I
one,
should
we'll
zoom
try it.
out more. I just don't want to show more of the space.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if we cut vertical for reels, it makes sense for me to be wider because that's, then you're like just head. Like there's nothing else to you except just your
Yeah,
head.
it's just
It's very tight.
a lot of chin and eyes cut in half. Yeah.
Yeah. Anywho, okay. Bye, guys. Have a great
Bye.
day.